Good morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening. I always forget that we're in tons of time zones here. I always like when somebody says, oh, we were staying up late, and they're in Ireland or Germany or someplace like that. I try to get these done in the morning. Sometimes the morning just runs away on me, and I don't get to it till noon or 1 or 2, and I always feel a little bad about that just because some people aren't going to see it till tomorrow morning. But here we are off digging into the new week here on Tuesday. I just did a test run. Tomorrow, I'm looking forward to tomorrow because tomorrow is my next live stream in the clubhouse. So I really love that. I'm really excited about that. And that's at 3 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. But at 12:15, I'm doing, it should be interesting. We just did a test run. There's a guy named Jimmy Star. It's the Jimmy Star Show. And I'm going to do an interview with him. He said about 45 minutes. I think it's a live stream show. I just checked out an episode of it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. He's quite a character. And his partner is really a character too. I think Ron is his name. So I'm looking forward to that. So tomorrow's going to be kind of a full plate. I'll get up early tomorrow and try and get everything done and accomplished in a video before I have to do the noon. I go on at 12:15, but I think the show starts at noon. And I'll just I'll look at it as a rehearsal for the live stream at 3. It's funny when these things start piling up. Sometimes you look and you got a couple of days in the week where there's very little, and other days you could use 26 hours. It just goes crazy. But I was up again at the crack of dawn, took the boys out for a nice walk, and they're having breakfast now, and took care of some things. I'm going to head over with Blue. That is his nickname. And we're going to go through some last minute changes on the book, and we're dialing it all in. So hopefully by Friday, he can send the completed book off to the printers, who have said that it should be all done, and I should have copies in hand by the end of February, which would be fantastic because then they would be around as Christmas presents. And I'll dress up in a Santa suit and hustle. I'm like a QVC commercial here, talking about it. I wish QVC was possible. When I did Andy Griffith's record, it was one of those fabulous experiences in my life because, growing up, the Andy Griffith Show, Mayberry, all that was like such a huge part of my television upbringing. It was kind of the golden age of those sitcoms with Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver and December Bride and I Married Joan. All these shows, Lucy, The Honeymooners. But so when I was in the studio doing the first album we did with Andy, which he won the Grammy that year with the album for Best Contemporary Gospel, which was fantastic. But he was so smart because when we finished the album, before it was actually released publicly, he went on QVC and just told stories, played, and I think he sold like 1 million copies of it on QVC before it was ever even released. When you have that kind of persona and history and image and all that, and at that point he had Matlock behind him and all of these shows, and certainly if you've never seen it, check out A Face in the Crowd. It's called A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith. It's one of the greatest performances you ever saw. He just plays kind of a country bumpkin who ends up with a radio show and rises to a position of incredible power in the country. And it's kind of it's not like what's going on now, but the end result is kind of a guy going completely crazy with power and how it gets dealt with. It's a tour de force performance. So if you've never seen it, check out A Face in the Crowd, it's called. And then one thing then this weekend I'm looking forward to, on Saturday, I'm going over to Judith Owen's, and we're going to do a live stream, a bunch of new songs for you. So I'm excited about that. And I was on the phone with the band yesterday, the immediate family, and we're just still working all of our plans out for things that are upcoming and things that we can do. The only thing we can't do is go out and gig. So we're going to do another live stream. We've got our EP coming out, video coming out. So we're working our asses off on all of this stuff. And Denny Tedesco and company are working all the time on the documentary film. So that's an ongoing process. And hopefully we're going to try to make it where the new album, which has been completed for a while now, that gets released in conjunction with the documentary film. It would really be nice to be able to package them together promotionally and all that. But that'll be the early in the year next year. But you know, everything's just at this point, and things are all day to day, because one day things are looking better and then suddenly they aren't looking better because of what's going on in the world. And so you have to just you have to be sort of zen about all of this and just, you know, get in the zone, and whatever you get dealt, you deal with. And some of it's really up and some of it's not. But one thing that's been really fun is people responding to Judith's takes on other songs. I mean, Judith's writing herself is as good as anybody out there. One of the new projects, we're doing 2 albums right now, a pop type record, and then there's a concept album that is really going to be geared towards live stage, more like a Broadway performance. It's really some magnificent writing. She's really stepped into a whole other zone with this, and it's pretty astounding to me when I sit and listen to what she's doing. I just kind of sit there and go, no kidding, man, this is really amazing. But I figured I'd do one more tune here from Rediscovered today. And it was really funny when she pulled this one out. We were jamming at her house one day, and just started goofing around with this. We thought it would be fun. And then it got serious, and we cut it and put it on the album. So I'm going to go ahead and play this, and then we'll have a little discussion, a little Q&A afterwards. So here we go.
Fleeing in a rock
Play That Funky Music, White Girl. I mean, I always loved Play That Funky Music, White Boy. That was still one of the greatest singles, man. It was so much fun. So when she decided to do her feminine spin on it, I thought, what a great call on it. And we had I think those are the horn players from Snarky Puppy on it. They did a couple of things on the album. And because we were hanging out with them, with Michael League and all those guys, man, it's like, man, that is still one of the most talented ensembles of musicians ever. I mean, it's just really astounding. And if you're not familiar with them, just go on YouTube and pull up Snarky Puppy. Everybody in that, Corey Henry is like one of the most baddest keyboard players I saw him at the NAMM show doing some demonstrations of some gear. And you just kind of sit there going, holy crap, man, how deep can one person's talent be? And Michael League, this is really, Snarky was his concept. He's the bass player in the group and the sweetest guy in the world. And he just did a album with David Crosby. He was involved with Crosby on it, and it's just beautiful. But the whole thing, so check out Snarky Puppy if you're not familiar with them. It's deep, it's really deep. But there's all kinds of fun things. There's some other tunes. Let me see what's on here. Can't Stop the Feeling. Cherokee Louise is so beautiful. It's another Joni Mitchell song, and her spin on it. It was really lovely. We did like a house concert at Judith's house, and we were showing. It was when Rediscovered was first coming out, and we had about 40 people at the house. And played the album top to bottom. And Larry Klein was there, who was married to Joni and produced a bunch of Joni stuff and played bass on it. He's a magnificent bass player and a fabulous producer. I've done a bunch of projects. It's always funny when he calls me to work on a project with him, because I'm sitting there looking through the window at a guy who's such a great bass player, but he's not playing bass. But when he's producing, he really likes to produce and not be, playing too. He doesn't want to wear multiple hats. But he was sitting there, and when we finished up, he said, "You guys do Joni better than anybody." It was like he was completely blown away by Judith's interpretations of Joni songs. So it's all cool, man. It is, the thing I love about all of this, and that I love about this channel, is the collective head space of it all. And that was kind of the beauty of when we put together the Immediate Family. It started as Danny Korchmar and the Immediate Family, because we were coming off the back of his solo Japanese record deal. And so he entitled it Danny Korchmar and the Immediate Family, because he felt about me and Russ and Waddy and Postel as his immediate family, which we really, as a group of musicians, we are our immediate family. We are our social life. We're the people that we lean on in good times and bad times and all that. But as all of the things that have been going on in the world are going on, we're really looking at the immediate family as a global community. So when, doing things like this and having the streams and then doing all of those things, it really, to me, brings together an immediate family, which is humanity. And I think it's really important, and I really think it's so imperative at a time like that we're living through right now, that we be as supportive of each other as we possibly can, because some people are getting through this without too much. They're in a position to kind of ride this out, and other people are in severely terrible situations, who the major bulk of people on this planet, I think, are pretty much living paycheck to paycheck. And when all of this stuff starts drying up, really, life-threatening and endangering decisions have to be made by people about food and shelter and all of this. So I think the more of an immediate family we can look at humanity as, I think the better off we'll all be in the end of this. So when I see all the squabbling and all the nonsense and the lying and crap going on, man, if everybody just focused on getting through all this and making the world a better place for everybody, it would be a better place. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. And I also look at these things as our lives seem to be long, but when you look in the overall scheme of things, we're just we're here and gone. And you try to do the best you can with that amount of time you've got in this world. And so much of it's squandered on pettiness and ridiculous things. So I wish everybody the best. Look out for yourself. Start with yourself, because I mean, if you haven't got your shit together, then nothing else is going to happen. But watch out for yourself, and then your family and your friends and your community. And ultimately, at the end of that, that's the world. That's humanity. So my heart's with everybody. I look forward to tomorrow to do the Jimmy Star Show. If you Google that up, I think it might be live, so maybe you can join in on that. You'll go check it out. I think they do chat and all kinds of stuff. I watched one episode of it just when they called me to do the show, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited about it. And I was glad when he asked me where I live, and I told him, and he goes, "Well, I'm in Palm Springs, so at least we're in the same time zone and all that." So sometimes I'm doing interviews and we're setting them up because the person who's interviewing me is like in Poland or someplace. So it's, this, at least we're local here. And as always, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everybody who's doing their best to get us through this as unscathed as possible. And especially because it really hits close to home. My niece and her husband are both teachers, and I've talked to them a lot about what they're dealing with. Is our schools going to open? Are they not going to open? What kind of curriculum are you going to do from home? How do you stay connected with your students? Are you going to, they're in a smaller area, but they talk about doing drive-bys to all of the different students' houses and just being able to give them a shout out so that life is more than a two-dimensional screen for these kids. But their children, they're young, and I think they're 7 and 9 now, or I think so. And their whole social life is Zoom and FaceTiming with their friends. Every once in a while, they all get out, like on the. It's one of those little good old neighborhoods where there's lots of kids, and they all get out on their lawns and they play on their lawns, but they have distance between each other, but at least they can kind of talk to each other or yell to each other. So it's really imperative that these things go on. But I certainly thank them and all the teachers who are going through really times that they would have never dreamed of happening. I don't think any of these instructors had any concept that someday they would have to be doing virtual teaching. I mean, their curriculum was classroom, hands-on, kids all together. And so I hope that time comes soon, because this is really a time, and especially young kids' lives, for socialization. And it's really be great when they can all get back together, but don't do it ill-prepared, and don't put them in harm's way just to satisfy an agenda, because these are lives. At the end of the day, the most important thing is life. It's not the stock market, and it's not all this other crap. I mean, we will recover from things in terms of it'll be different and all that, but there's nothing to recover from if you're dead. So do all you can just to maintain your safety. And that's enough of my soapbox for today. Just play that funky music, White Girl, with Judith Owen. It's Judith and me and Pedro and some of the cats on the record. We've got Gabby Swallow is playing cello on it, and all kinds of good stuff. It's a fun, little party thing. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and maybe I'll see you from the Jimmy Star Show. Otherwise, those of you who are coming to the live stream, I will see you all and have your questions ready, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can. And what I don't know, I'll fake. Okay? Okay, bye-bye.